Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Crypto, Coffee, and LoFi. I took a few days off, spent some time with the family, enjoyed the weekend. We didn't really miss much. There were a few pumps. Doge saw a massive sell-off. Managed to scale out of most of my position. Entered into the Doge bear, and I will show you that in a sec. Bitcoin. Let's start with Bitcoin, okay? I got stopped on a few of my short positions. If you've been watching the previous episodes, you would know that. Okay, and I just want to cover something quickly. So when you're seeing multiple conflicting signals, like we're seeing right here, where you have a bullish broken base here, a bullish broken base here, but then you also see a sweep of this double top, a bearish broken base, and then a double confirmation of this bearish broken base. So you're seeing both bullish and bearish signals that look quite strong. You're better off, and I say this to myself as well because I've taken 3 trades and lost them, but you're better off just sitting out, okay, and waiting for one of the strong signals, being this bearish broken base or this bullish broken base, to get invalidated. So once this is invalidated, then the bearish bias that you could have had in this range is now gone. Okay, so now you can rely on your bullish bias, or vice versa. So if this is invalidated, then you can rely on your bearish bias. But trying to trade in between here, notice how that the signals, the double confirmation signals, don't work out. Okay, because we are just stuck in a ranging environment. Now, what I just told you, when there's conflicting signals that are quite strong, that's how you kind of depict if we are going to be in a ranging environment or not. So, Bitcoin, not taking any trades here. Doge. Okay. I've covered most of my position, but I'm going to just be holding it. So, if I do get stopped on this, my stop is sitting below this low around, I think it's around like $45 or $50. So this is not exactly inverse to Doge because it's a 3x. But if you take a look, where is it? Here. Okay, we are seeing distribution here, and I would much rather just hold the short. As long as my position is covered, my risk is covered, I've still made a little bit of money, I would much rather hold it. So here we have 1 confirmation and then 2 confirmations right around the time that Elon went live. And I think this was just a classic case of buy the rumor, sell the news. Okay, if you guys are just in crypto and you've never heard of that, you know, essentially, if there is a lot of hype around a certain news article or a certain economic figure that's going to come out that will affect the market, generally what happens is the market will start to price that in. So we knew, I can't remember what date we found out he was going live, but it was a while ago, and we just pumped into that. And it's of no surprise that as he's about to go live, we start to distribute and sell off. So once we start to see this, I entered my long on the Doge bear. Okay. And yeah, so I'll just be holding that. We had a 60% move on this yesterday. I took a decent amount of profit, so I'm just holding it. You know, if I am wrong, then I'm wrong. But if I'm right big. And at the end of the day, those are going to be some of your best trades. Just covering your risk and letting things ride. If you get stopped out, that's fine. Move on to the next. But if your risk is covered, you've made some money, you're making money on other coins or on other trades, but there's some decent potential, in my opinion, you're better off holding it. So for this, I'm just going to hold this long. My risk is covered. That's fine. Now moving on to altcoins. Okay, so Bitcoin, I'm not going to be touching that. Sushi. If you go back a few episodes ago, look for the title that has Sushi in it. I entered long here and I closed it around 1390 or 1396. Just after we swept this high and then retrace back down. I did say in that video that I did want us to leave a double top. I didn't want this to be swept. Okay, I wanted to retrace into bullish levels. So we're setting up perfectly for that scenario. Okay, so we have a sweep of these lows, a break above the high that swept the lows, Okay, so this is our first bullish break in structure. This is our first broken base. And then we see that again. So now that we have some equal lows sitting above the bullish broken bases here, then I will look for another confirmation after taking the lows. So one more thing that I wanted to touch on. I've been receiving a few messages on Twitter asking specific questions about the strategy. Now, I don't mind making these videos and helping you guys out, sharing charts and whatever. But with answering specific questions, you're probably just better off buying the strategy. Because I don't want to give a watered down response that doesn't include all the nuances and the exact kind of process that you need to take to actually make the strategy profitable. Because although I try to get through most of what the strategy is in these videos, without the nuances and the little things that I do include in the guide, you're not going to be able to make this profitable on its own anyway. Okay, you may be able to include your own kind of steps and collect your own statistics, but for what I'm doing here, if you're interested, you have any questions, just go by the strategy. And then once you go through that content, you can ask me questions. Okay, but I just don't want to give a watered down response and then you go and try to make a trade and it just doesn't work out for you. It's a lose-lose, you know. Anyway, Sushi, once we can sweep the lows into this bullish level or one of these bullish levels and reaccumulate, then I'll look to get long, targeting this double top. Easy. RSR, a nice daily close here. I went over this a few weeks ago as well, or early last week. We swept these equal lows here and we broke above the high that was responsible for sweeping the lows. A strong bullish sign. We accumulated and consolidated above this high before sweeping below this low here and breaking above. So now I'll be looking for a retest. Let's hope we get it. I've missed a few decent trades over the last few weeks because we haven't seen the retest, but it does just come down to patience. I won't try to chase anything unless I see the setup or unless I see a setup that permits me to actually enter. So I'll be waiting for the retrace into one of these highs here. Once I get it, I'll look for the reaccumulation and then I'll enter. Just following the process. Yep. So, DOT. We swept below these lows. We broke above the high that swept the lows. Just repeating the exact same process, using 3 lines, the exact same pattern. Okay, but it's the nuances. All right. Sweeping another low here. We break above the high that swept the low. And now we have a bunch of equal lows sitting here. Similar to Sushi. If we can break below and then reaccumulate, that'll be a strong sign of what's to come. Targeting this high here and this high here. Where are we at for time? 8 minutes. I think the DeFi blue chips are going to have a decent few weeks once we can either break out of this range or fall below and then reaccumulate below. So what would that look like? You can see we do have a range on both sides here. So if we can break above the range and then reaccumulate, forming a bullish broken base, then I can look to get long and take a look at the DeFi blue chips to see what has the best setup and go heavy on that. But if we do break below, then I would like to see reaccumulation here. We swept this low, we broke above the high that swept the low. This is now a bullish level. Equal lows above a bullish level is a good sign. It's a good place to look for reaccumulation. If you do see it, then that is a strong bullish signal. Okay. So Bitcoin not touching it, Sushi waiting, RSR waiting, DOT waiting, the DeFi perp, let's see what we can get. And that's pretty much it. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the episode, leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your feedback. If you're interested in the strategy, head down in the description below, buy it, you'll get access to a Discord, you can ask me questions there. More than happy to help. No worries guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.